Nobody will give you power. You have to take it. You have to take your power. Nobody is going to give you permission. Nobody's going to tell you this is what your power is. This is what you have the choice in. This is no. This video right now is the closest thing to someone telling you what your power is. Because power is not something that is given to people. It is something that people take. People take it. You have to take your power. Merriam-Webster defines power as the ability to act or produce an effect. We all have power. Every single person has power. Every single one of us has power. We have our personal power. Our personal power comes about in the ways that we make decisions every single day. The actions that we take every single day. What we say yes to, what we say no to. We all have that personal power to make decisions, to make choices, to make actions. That is where our power lies. Okay, the world, capitalism, government, people who have extreme levels of power because of their money and their social standing, big they, will have people thinking that we are powerless. They will have us thinking that we are powerless, thinking that we are hopeless, thinking that we have nothing to do. It's called demoralization. Demoralization. Let me look it up for you too. To cause someone to lose confidence or hope. They would rather have us demoralized, obviously. Obviously, they would rather have us demoralized so that we don't act, so that we feel as though we are stuck, so that we feel as though we are powerless, so that we do not disrupt their money-making machines, so that we do not disrupt the status quo, so that we do not disrupt the path that we are leading down on, which is utter and complete destruction, mind you. Don't even get me started on climate change because, girl, I've been eyes wide open since I was 7, 8 years old. If anyone else is Gen Z, maybe you relate to that, and that's a completely separate video. But they would rather have us demoralized, obviously. Nobody's going to tell you what your power is. Nobody's going to tell you that you have personal power. You do, though. There's no such thing as doing or acting against our own will. No, there's no such thing as somebody forcing you to do something against your will. And yes, although there are circumstances that are big circumstances that are hard to change, such as the family you were born into, the country that you were born into, or that you have citizenship to, where you're allowed to go because of that. Like, there are huge circumstances that does dictate the life that your circumstances of living of life, and yet we still have power, and yet we still have our personal power of our choices and our decisions. That's where our real power lies, and you have the choice. You have the choice. Personal power is something that you take, something that you need to know, that you need to acknowledge for yourself, and something that you take for yourself. That doesn't mean power over other people, ability to control other people. No, it means the ability to control ourselves. Power over our own, how we spend our time, how we use our time, how we use our resources that we have, how we treat the people in our lives, how we treat ourselves. That is our power. Someone at one of my yoga sessions asked me, like, how I define personal power or my relationship to it. And our personal power truly lies in the present moment, first and foremost. It lies in the present moment and how we choose to live our life, the choices that we make, how we choose to respond to the things that happen in our lives, how we choose to treat ourselves, how we choose to accept things in our life or not accept things in our life, the respect that we accept, the friendship that we accept, the relationships that we accept, the money that we accept, the jobs that we accept, the treatment that we accept and that we don't accept. Our personal power lies in the present moment because me being present, us being present, gives us the ability to choose. Where do I want to put my energy? Where do I want to put the energy of my thoughts, the energy of my actions? Where am I putting it? Something happens to me, let's say something upsetting happens to me, how do I react? That is my power. I cannot control the things that happen to me, the things that happen to my life, the way people treat me. No, I can't control it. I can control how I respond. That is my power. I can control how I respond. I can control how I act, how I talk. That is my power, and that is so powerful. And we think that that's little, that's not a lot, but that is the same power that the people who are controlling the governments and who are controlling the corporations, this is the same power that they are using. They are not using anything more than their speech, what they say, and how they act. They're not using anything more than that. They're human just like we are. We're all the same kind of humans. So they are also using their same personal power. They have just gotten into positions where more people listen to them. But how did they start getting people to listening to them? They demanded it. And that's not to say that we're trying to be like them. Obviously, I'm not trying to be like freaking Jeff Bozo, actually. I'm not trying to be like that guy. I'm not trying to be like Mark Zucker or whatever, Elon Husk. I'm not trying to be like them. And yet their power comes from the same place that our power comes from. Words, thoughts, actions. That's where their power comes from. That's where our power comes from. I was talking to a friend the other day. We're both Nigerian and we both have a lot of body modification, okay? And just so you know, if you've ever have you ever met a Nigerian? Have you ever met a Nigerian? I'm sure you have, because if you've never met a Nigerian before in your life, girl, you're not living it outside. We're everywhere. Okay? So if you've ever met a Nigerian, then you know that Nigerians are very loud, very aggressive, very, big egos. We love ourselves and we're very, even if we don't have a lot of power, we walk and talk and act like we do. It's a generalization, but if you've ever met a Nigerian, then you know we're very proud and we're very aggressive. Okay? And again, this is generalization, but it's true. If you've ever met Nigerians, this is most of the time how Nigerians act, okay? Especially if they let you know that you're Nigerian. So imagine being like, also Nigerians love God most of the time. Nigerians love God. And of course, Nigeria has been colonized. So a lot of Nigerians are like Christians, for example, like my family. And, you know, with that comes like a certain level of like traditionalism and, you have to act this way, whatever, kind of just traditional values, okay? Traditional values. So me and my friend, we both have a lot of body modification. Them specifically, they have a lot of piercings. Me, I have piercings and tattoos. I'm half sleeved up on both arms, so that's like a full sleeve. We got a lot of body mod. And people will always ask me, like, because I went to Nigeria recently, actually. I went to Nigeria this past winter, and people will always ask me, like, how was it going to Nigeria? How was it going to the village, having body mod, being yourself, tattoos, piercings? How was it? How is it growing up in your family? I'm also half Indian. So my mom's also very, very traditional. She's very, very religious and very traditional, conservative vibes, conservative in behavior, not so much government. And so on both sides, very much strict attitudes, okay? People will always ask me how I do it. How I do it. And I was talking to my friend and we were just bonding over the fact that, like, especially this is no matter what your religion, background, culture, country, no matter what, this still applies, but it's almost a bit more funny thinking about it in the Nigerian context, okay, of like in a Nigerian household, nobody's gonna give you your power. Nobody's gonna tell you what your power is. You have to take it. You have to take it. Otherwise, people are gonna walk over you, walk you on top of you, up, down, left, right, make fun of you, bully you, tell you what to do all day long if you don't take your power. So you have to take it. Nobody's gonna tell me to take my, well, people can tell me to take my piercings out. People can tell me to stop getting tattoos. People, my family members, my aunties, uncles can tell me whatever they want to tell me. Am I gonna listen? No. Because at the end of the day, someone's gonna say to me, take your piercings out. I'm gonna say, you know what, auntie, love me for who I am. And if they're gonna say, please love me back and take your piercings out, stop getting tattoos, I'm gonna say, nobody's gonna tell me what to do. You're not gonna tell me what to do. I love you so much, but nobody is going to tell me what to do because I am a Nigerian. And if let's say you're not a Nigerian, you can't use that line, nobody's gonna tell me what to do. I am my own person. At the end of the day, who's gonna be in that grave when they die? Me? I'm gonna be in that grave alone when I die. Are you gonna come with me? No, I'm gonna be there by myself. So nobody's gonna tell me what to do with my life. You have to take your power. And sometimes it feels uncomfortable. Oh, I love you, auntie. I love you, uncle. You don't want to be rude. You don't want to be disrespectful. But me, I'm a very easygoing person. I'm an amazing person to be around. I lift you up. I'm curious about you. I'm inquisitive. I'm loving. I am a joy to be around. And I know that for myself. I always make people feel amazing when they're around me. I'm a joy to be around. So when I'm super easygoing, super loving, super amazing, people think they can start saying, you know, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And then, especially with my family, I have to stop them right there and say, I am not going to listen to you when it comes to this thing. I am going to make my own decisions for what I want. I might listen to you here and there because you have some good ideas, you have some good knowledge that I don't have. But when it comes to my own actions, for my own life that only impact me, I'm going to make my own decision. You take your power. And then, you know, you're loving, easygoing, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like the one thing that you get upset, that you get like a little bit worked out over. Like, this is the one thing that you get worked out over is boundaries or your own thing, you know? And then people will leave you alone about that one thing. At least in my Nigerian family, it's like, okay, this is the one thing that Flora gets a little bit upset over. So after a while, maybe not the first or second time, but after a while, they're gonna leave Flora alone because this is the one thing that they get upset over. They're leave Flora alone when it comes to this stuff. That doesn't mean they don't try, and maybe they tried saying it in a really sweet, loving way, whatever. And I still stand my ground, and I still say, don't tell me what to do with my body. Don't tell me what to do with my piercings, tattoos. I do what I want. You have to take your power, and it's the same for everything. Take your power. Because that's the power that you have. Don't let somebody take the only power that you have, which is over your thoughts, actions, and speech. Got to take it for yourself. And that's power. That's personal power. Personal power lies in the present moment. Not in the past, not in the future. It lies right here in the present moment. What are you doing? Right here, right now. That is where your power lies.